see this exchange, Judy, with it started with Jim Acosta.
Oh, this is important.
And this is encouraging. I'll tell you, this is like one of the more encouraging things.
I love this one.
Right.
I know. I love this.
This is 3 minutes long, but let's play it. It starts with Jim Acosta, and then it goes to Paula Reed from CBS.
Yes.
Acosta's from CNN, and then ends with this guy Brian Karam, who's from Playboy.
I love Brian Karam
from Playboy magazine. And here's the thing that I think is good about this is that usually in these type of circumstances, you have one reporter who asks a question, and the way that the spokesperson, or whoever's being on the hot seat, gets away from it is they say, "You've spoken enough. I'm going to go to another reporter." And that reporter then starts asking about, what's going on with the communiques from blah, blah. In this instance, you have 3 reporters in a row who will not let her off the hook. And that's why I think this is encouraging. I mean, right now it's like, small things, right? You get excited about. But let's listen to this exchange.
And these laws are the same that have been on the books for over a decade, and the president is simply enforcing them.
Policy to take children away from their parents.
It's a moral policy to follow and enforce the law.
When they come across the border, they're with their parents, and then suddenly they're pulled away from their parents. Why is the government doing this?
Because it's the law, and that's what the law states. And the law.
You guys don't have to do that.
You're right. It doesn't have to be the law, and the president has actually called on Democrats in Congress to fix those loopholes. The Democrats have failed to come to the table, failed to help this president close these loopholes and fix this problem. We don't want this to be a problem. The president has tried to address it a number of occasions. We've laid out a proposal, and Democrats simply refuse to do their job and fix the problem.
Pause it, incidentally, and we should just note here, not only is this not the law, the Republicans control both branches of the legislative body of this country. They don't need Democrats to do anything. The Republicans could pass this easily if they wanted to, but let's continue.
Go ahead. Sorry, Jim, I've given you enough time.
2 questions. First of all, there is no law that requires families to be separated at the border. This was the administration's choice to move from civil matters and immigration onto criminal, to criminally prosecute people who come across the border illegally, and therefore you have to separate families. So why did the administration find that this was necessary? And if it continues to not have much of a deterrent effect, will you continue this policy?
Again, the laws are the ones that have been on the books for over a decade, and the president is enforcing them. We would like to fix the broken system that our immigration and fix our immigration problem. However, until Democrats are willing to actually fix this problem, it's going to continue. But we would like to see it fixed. Jill.
Take responsibility for its policy change from handling them as civil matters to criminal prosecution.
It's not a policy change to enforce the law. That's been this administration's policy since the day we got here.
In April, that he was going to move from handling it as a civil matter.
It has been our administration's policy.
Our administration said it was a deterrent. They're separating families to deter people from coming here illegally.
Our administration has had the same position since we started on day one, that we were going to enforce the law. I know it was something that wasn't high on the priority list in the previous administration, but it is on ours. We're a country of law and order, and we're enforcing the law and protecting our borders. We would like to fix these loopholes, and if Democrats want to get serious about it instead of playing political games, they're welcome to come here and sit down with the president and actually do something about it. Jill.
Don't you have any empathy?
Jill, go ahead.
Come on, Sarah, you're a parent. Don't you have any empathy for what these people are going through? They have less than you do.
Guys,
Sarah, come on,
settle down.
Seriously.
I'm trying to be serious, but I'm not going to have you yell out of turn. Jill, please
It's a
calm.
law, and they have, these people have nothing.
Hey, Ryan, I know you want to get some more TV time, but that's not what this is about. If I want to recognize you, go ahead, Jill.
Honestly, answer the question. It's a serious question. These people have nothing. They come to the border with nothing, and you throw children in cages. You're a parent. You're a parent of young children. Don't you have any empathy for what they go through?
Jill, go ahead.
It would not be possible for her to be a more disgusting thing. She is so disgusting.
I mean, okay, she is the definition of cunt. Let me tell you something. First of all, I guess
Or
you
that.
want- I guess you want more airtime. Shut the fuck up.
For the
You're a
sake
fucking
of
bitch.
for the sake of those people who are going to listen to that and want to get me fired from this show, I would tell you could go directly and set up a GoFundMe page to support this program because I cannot get fired from this show. So I just want to tell you, if you really
I'm just saying, you know what? The C word is around for women like her. And and he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. You're a mother. Like, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable that you can stand there and defend this and also blame the Democrat. Like, you're in office for over a fucking year now, a year and a half, and you're still fucking blaming the Democrats.
Well, look,
We have
this
no
is a new
power, you
policy.
fucking idiot.
There's a new policy. I mean, they're doing this. They're doing it as an attempt to leverage the Democratic votes on this immigration bill that is coming up.
Yeah,
And basically saying, "Hey, we're going to continue to do these horrible things unless you vote the way we want." I mean, this is the classic sort of hold the hostage thing. But you would expect anybody with a shred of integrity or a shred of decency to answer those questions, walk away from the podium, hand in a resignation letter, and say, "I'm sorry, I can't do this because I have a moral code. I'm a religious person. I'm a parent. I'm a human being."
Not a
It could be
sociopath.
just like, "I'm not a sociopath. I have the capacity to actually feel emotion. I have a sense of what the law is." Like there's probably
Don't want to look
more.
my family in the eye on my deathbed after I participated in this.
Right.
She is showing that women can be just as cold-hearted and sociopathic as men. It's feminism.
This is the fifth wave of feminism. There you go.
Don't try to reduce me to my identity
can't-
as a mother. I can be just as disgusting a piece of garbage as anyone else in this administration. Okay.
There's no.
she's
Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, there's something about him saying you're a mother, as if, these guys are fathers too, and no one says to them, you're a father.
Right.
But it's,
Oh, I sure am a
wait
father.
second. Let me
Do you really
just
do you want
let
me to be
let
having
me-
sex
let me-
or abusing these
I
children?
think there is I think there actually is another element to that part of it. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, there was a clip of Huckabee Sanders that was being played, particularly on Fox News, as if it was like, I think, helpful to her, where I think she got a question from a kid who somehow showed up at some type of conference.
yes.
And the
yes,
kid
yes, I remember
said,
that.
how can you not do anything about these shootings? And I think the kid was young.
Right.
I think the kid was like maybe
the kid was
7.
young, and she started, like, tearing up.
She started
or she took
tearing
a good
up.
acting class.
And it may have been sincere. I mean, as a parent, particularly of small kids. I mean, when my first
Well,
child,
my kids are,
your kid's old, but when they're young, when my first
Yes,
child
yes.
was, I think like around this age, 4, 5, or 6 or 7. I'm over it now, even with my second one. But the
Right.
first one, like I would cry. Like I feel like I cried. At that asteroid movie with Bruce Willis, like on an airplane.
Armageddon?
Right,
Armageddon.
right.
Like you cry at
Wow,
anything.
Sam, that's quite a bit.
All it takes, like commercials that involve children, you just start crying. And so here's that segment here, and it is, this was the thing that people were talking about. It really humanizes her, and you really see that she's a real human being. And here's that clip. It's pretty quick.
Questions.
In my school, we recently had a lockdown zone. One thing that affects mine and other students' mental health is the worry about the fact that we or our friends could get shot at school. Specifically, can you tell me what the administration has done and will do to prevent these senseless tragedies?
I think that as a kid and certainly as a parent, there is nothing that could be more terrifying for a kid to go to school and not feel safe. So I'm sorry that you feel that way. This administration takes it seriously, And the School Safety Commission that the president convened is meeting this week, again, an official meeting to discuss the best ways forward and how we can do every single thing within our power to protect kids in our schools and to make them feel safe and make their parents feel good about it.
You know what's interesting about this is that as I'm watching it, when she sees this little white kid say these words, she thinks of her kid. But when she hears these stories of these brown folk who come here who are immigrants and they get separated, none of that's triggered. None of that's triggered. There's no capacity for empathy. She is thinking about her child in that moment. She is not thinking about the child who's asking her the question or the other children. She's thinking about her child there. And when it comes to immigrants, this administration has the ability to really separate those things.
She handled that emotion like a pro, though, wouldn't you say?
Well,
she's not going to let that last remaining shred of humanity get the best of her.
I'm not going to let it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I mean,
I think
I'm
she
skeptical.
I think
that was genuine. There have been times there's been times doing this show when there have been things that I've talked about that trigger that reaction in me, and you hold back. But you got a job to do. You plow through it. I think that was sincere, but I think it was really about, I'm thinking about my kid. I'm not thinking about kids and parents and empathy and other people.
You have a different reaction. You can be more empathetic when you have a child. And when I see those school shootings, all I think about is, oh my God, what would it be like to arrive at that school and yours is the kid that doesn't come out, and greet his or her parents, You have to be like a fucking asshole not to think.
They really have a talent in this administration to compartmentalize when those kids are not, white.
Mrs. Huckabee, my family is put in detention center. Can you help us? Yeah, you're going to need to ask the Democrats about that. Get the hell out of my sight.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just unbelievable
human children.
that they keep fucking blaming. We have no power. We don't fucking have any power, you fucking idiot. Why don't you take your charity money and go pace people off, you motherfucker?
No, they pay
What's
me
going
off.
to be the spin on that?
They pay me off through the charity. What part of this don't you get, Judy?
Totally political.
A lot of hatred.
Not surprised Judy Gold falls right into that trap.
A lot of anger. But that's, that's fake comedy.
Yeah. Fake. Fucking asshole.
Speaking of which,
I love that
my
Judy
sister has got a ticket. Is going to
Trump
see
so much.
See Judy on Monday.
No, and honestly, people who are like, well, you got to really, you got to listen to the other side. There is no other side. The guy is a fucking asshole. He's immoral. He's a liar. He's a narcissist. He is dumb. He has no curiosity. He's a racist. He's a homophobe. He's an asshole. Okay? He has no class whatsoever. None. Zero. Hello?
Hello. I mean, that's that.
Sorry.
Take that. Take that silence as total agreement. I can't. I mean.
But what is this? We have to meet halfway. There's no halfway. There's no way. There's no way because everything he says is fucking bullshit.
Right.
And that whole thing about, oh, you want him to fail. You don't want the North Korean thing to work out. Yeah. We want to have North Korea invade us. You're a fucking asshole.
It's a zero-sum game.
Damn it.
It's a zero-sum game.
What?
It's a zero-sum game. I mean, the bottom line is any quarter, any inch given to these people is one that's gone, and it's taken out of it's going to be taken out of the hides of others. I mean, we're already seeing. Look, this is going to go. We're moving from people who enter this country illegally and people who commit crimes while they're here to people who just entered this country without documents to people who walk up to this country
like
and
Melania?
and seek asylum. Okay, breaking no laws, just simply coming up, seeking asylum. And then we're going to move to the next level is going to be going back, getting people who have been admitted into this country legally, who have been given citizenship, and getting them out via a technicality. That's the next step that we're going to see.
Melania, yeah.
Except for Melania, honestly, except for Melania.
She wishes.
I would love to be deported.
Right?
I know.
This is the whole denaturalization process, which we've heard about for a while, where they go back and they look at applications, and apparently, according to I've heard, there's a question on there: have you ever committed a crime for which you are not arrested? And if there's
who's stupid enough to write yes? Who's stupid enough to write yes?
Well, I've smoked pot. I've smoked pot. I've taken a left turn at a stop sign, whatever it is.
Wow.
And these are all could be the basis of, or you filled out this form. I mean, the way that they do insurance and do rescission, right? I mean, and they're going to go through the denaturalization process. And then after that, they'll take the next step. I mean, there's no doubt now, it seems to me, that we are deep enough onto a spectrum of fascism where you can say this is fascism. It's not engulfing everybody yet. We're not, and it may not lead there, but we have gone from a seed to a seedling. And so there is plant life outside of the ground. It's not a tree yet. It's not a full, plant, but we're at seedling stage, and, real lives are being shattered. Real people are going to die.
We campaigned on that. We campaigned on the explicit promise of radically increasing human misery.
Yep.
For population.
Let me tell you something. The fact that he is more comfortable. I mean, you can see he's way more comfortable with dictators and xenophobes and than he is with our allies. I mean, he realizes he's completely out of his element with Merkel and Macron and Trudeau, because they're thoughtful and they're smart and they're moral, and he can't be around that because he's a fucking asshole. And it's like he reaches out to these fucking Putin, and because that's who he on some level relates to. Like,
here is a clip.
Hang out together.
Here's a clip of Brett Baer on Air Force One talking about Kim Jong-un. The first clip, it's a little bit clipped at the top, but he says Kim Jong-un is clearly executing people. And listen to Trump's reaction.
If you could do that at 27 years old, that's 1 in 10,000 that could do that. So he's a very smart guy. He's a great negotiator. But I think we understand each other.
That's it. That's his response. That's his response.
He said that 1 in 10,000 line multiple times.
Yeah, rewind it. Just hear the first part of this.
He's executing people. He's a tough guy. Hey, when you take over a country, tough country, with tough people, and you take it over from your father, I don't care who you are, what you are, how much of an advantage you have. If you can do that at 27 years old, that's 1 in 10,000 that could do that.
Oh my God.
Well, okay, so he's executing people. That's 1 in 10,000. First off, 1 in 10,000. There would be a lot of countries that we would need to provide for all those leaders.
That's a really high talent pool. It's
1 in 10,000.
Yeah.
There are
like,
billions of people on the planet.
Some punk like Macron would be like, "Sacre, I cannot do it anymore. I'm too weak."
1 in 10,000.
Have you thought ever since he actually
That's
says,
like there's like a half a dozen people in like Peter Cooper's village.
Like that's not near the NBA of dictatorship.
He said something similar.
Division III college ball.
Do you think of that when you walk on the street now? Like I look at people and I'm like, are you part of that talented 1 in 10,000? Hey, could this guy that just got on the C train order his uncle shot by cannon fire? Does he have the balls?
Oh my God.
What do we got? 6 billion people, right? Is that what is it?
Almost 7 now.
Okay, well, let's just
to
do
that
6.
propaganda video that they gave to the North
Right,
Koreans.
only 7 billion.
By 10, 1, 2, 3. At 6 billion, you're still talking about 60,000 people.
Oh, look, I mean, as nutrition's increased,
What?
there's the Flynn
Is
effect.
it more than that? It's more than that. I think my numbers are off. It's 600,000.
There's a lot of untapped talent.
There's a whole New York City full of people who could murder people as a leader of a tough country.
Tough always means good when he says it.
Yeah.
He thinks he's tough. He's not. And he's such a fucking asshole. Like, I can't believe, like, there are people who are smart, who, like, are educated, who will overlook his fascism and his fucking dumbness. He is dumb. You can see his little brain working like, oh, what am I going to say next? What am I going to say next? Oh, yeah. He's so disgusting. Like he has degraded the office of the presidency. Remember how Obama used to have concerts and bring the arts in? Nothing.
They don't want to waste money.
Is he going to have square dancing?
It's almost like rich people care more about their pocketbooks than culture.
No, not at all. I can't. I mean, I can't take it anymore.
It's great to see Gary Cohn. It's great to see Gary Cohn finally speak up. He didn't speak up during Charlottesville. He didn't speak up during, and he speaks up because he's upset about tariffs. Maybe taking all the windfalls from the tax cuts back. He's a scumbag.
Yeah.
These people are
They're the
scumbags. They
worst.
should all be in prison. They should all honestly be like on work detail. Honestly,
the
like
floors and
there should be free TaskRabbit for everybody, just completely filled with all these people.
Hey, but Jody, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
1 in 10,000, maybe a little bit less, right? You got to give that kid some credit. That was a tough situation.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
I can't.
She can't even make fun of these assholes anymore.
But how did they defend it? Like, oh, that's just Trump. We gotta sift through the shit. It's all shit. There's no sifting. It's all shit.
I mean, I just want to.
Oh, wouldn't you rather them talk to each other? Oh.
I just want to provide a small counterpoint before I undermine myself again, which is, for a lot of people, it's been fascism for a pretty long time. Like, remember that photo of the kid in a cage and everyone was all mad about it, and then it turned out it was from like 2014.
Right.
Like, it's not been great, but it's definitely getting worse. And if Trump is what it takes to get people to care about this issue and to care about undocumented immigrants, then I think that's fine.
Right.
I think it's better than nothing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the operative.
I mean, it's not fine, but it's good that people care.
I hope they do. I mean, it's weird to me on some level, and maybe it's just the timing and this and that, but and the nature of it. But people went to the airports for Muslim ban. On some level, there's like nobody knows where to go right now. Nobody knows, like, where do you, like, what,
Nobody knows what to do.
People were down.
The only great thing is that wherever Pence goes, there's live, there's gays dancing, I mean, that's great. But there's got to be something yeah, you're right. Where do we go? How do we protest?
Well, you know, like
they don't
last
fucking care.
night, people were protesting. I don't know, 5 or 6 blocks from here, at about 5:30.
Because of the guys who called the cops on the pizza delivery guy. Was it?
No. This was a protest
horrible.
regarding the separation of families.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Took place around Borough Hall. I mean, I think it was, people heard about it very late, and I think, these are early, and hopefully these start happening.
Maybe we should protest in front of those sites, like where Mercury
Well,
went,
that's the
right?
thing,
Right?
is
like,
that,
to the
like-
extent that
Right.
we can know where those sites are.
Exactly. I mean, flying down to, the far reaches of Texas, 102 degrees, so I imagine it's fairly remote, is not so easy, but on some level, that's what's got to happen, right? We need to see that we need to, people need to start, like, showing that it has implications on some level. But
Right. Wait, can we just take one moment to think about what Paul Manafort's doing right now?
I was actually trying to send a bribe through WhatsApp, but then it was on Venmo, and then I got arrested. So
They took my
that's
phone.
our
They took
position
my
now.
phone.
It took my phone, which I thought was very unsportsmanlike. So
I mean, do you think he's at the cell yet? What do you think? Fingerprint? What do you think's going on now?
when was he booked?
Did he
when,
get his
when
gown
when
and
was
all that
announced?
shit?
I think he's
probably
going
being
through the
processed
process right now.
He's getting processed right now. His
Yeah.
rings are getting taken off his fingers right now, Judy.
Oh yeah.
His
oh yeah.
$3,000 suit is coming off piece by piece to be replaced by an orange jumpsuit, like right now.
Judy,
She can't even.
Oh, that's beautiful.
that is the perfect way to end this on this high note of thinking
Oh,
about Paul
God.
Manafort. I mean,
yeah.
would it? Let me ask you this. Let's
great.
just cut to the chase. Would it be a problem if he was literally weeping right now? Literally weeping.
Oh, beautiful.
It would be a
That's
problem
beautiful.
if he's not.
Like, what do you think they're going to say to him, like in the cafeteria?
In the commissary?
Like,
Oh boy.
yeah, commissary, whatever.
I think
He'd actually do well.
It depends on where
he'd
he's
be
going.
popular.
It depends on where he's going, but I think he might have some problems. I think there might be people in there
Yeah, I
who
think
don't
so.
like Donald Trump, and he's immediately going to have to hang out with the skinheads, right?
I
He's
feel like
gonna
that's
have
what
to-
happens anyway, though,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
to.
absolutely.
More like get to.
I helped cut you guys some checks through Ukraine. So, could I
There you
send
go.
Do you think he's going to, after he's in jail, he's going to flip?
That's going to be interesting to see. I think he might be also seeing like what happens with Michael Cohen. I mean, there's got to be a bit of a race there, right? Now, maybe Manafort's lawyer is saying to him, like, look, there's no reason why they can't give you both immunity because you both have unique things to bring to the party.
Right.
So you might as well hang in there. But if there's a sense that he's racing against Michael Cohen, and I would imagine what this does, it puts pressure on Michael Cohen because now prosecutors go to Cohen and say, how long do you think Paul Manafort's going to last? The clock is ticking on that dude.
You're a bunch of
Right.
And look for the prosecutors to attempt to push Paul Manafort's court date back another month or two.
Oh, you guys are real bad.
Right.
You guys suck. You guys are so brutal. Now I understand. Well, the black people always complaining about criminal
Exactly.
justice system.
I can't wait till we see this new crop of prison reform advocates like we saw after Dinesh D'Souza got out.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like, it's so fair. They don't think, like, how could I be rehabilitated as a global arch criminal who facilitates political bribery? No one thought about that. It's all just punishment.
Oh, good.
Judy.
So beautiful.
Talk to you soon.
Listen, I can't tell you, I had such a lovely time
Thank you
today.
so much for coming on.
Very excited for Sarah Huckabee Fuckface to do her press conference, press briefing, whatever she calls it today, where, she just fucking lies and talks out of the side of her mouth and looks down at the podium. There's so much to look forward to.